Hey guys, welcome to Blog On Expo. My name is John Chow from johnchow.com, and I'm here to talk to you about what you should do if your number one source of traffic disappears on you. Alright. I'm sure you've all read many horror stories on Digital Point, Site Point, or any of the other webmasters forums where the poster says that they were getting thousands of hits from Google for their chosen keyword, and they were making like hundreds, thousands of dollars per day or whatever. And then one day, Google decides to nuke them off the search engine results page, and suddenly their traffic goes to near zero, and they're wondering how they're going to pay next month's rent. Right? Now, some of you may know my personal story with Google. I used to do very well with Google traffic and rank very highly for a bunch of money-making keywords, including make money online. Then one day Google decided that it didn't like me anymore and blasted me from page 1 all the way to page 6. Now, I'm no longer number one for any keywords, including my own name. If you do a search for John Chow, the number one result is actually John Cow, and I'm on page 6. So, figure that one out. Now, many bloggers and webmasters, thought that was the end of me when that happened. They thought, this is it. John Chow's been nuked by Google. He's gone. We're never going to see him again. And his blog will just be a memory. Well, as you can see, I'm still here. The blog is bigger than ever. And so, how'd I do it? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about. Now, the first thing I did was apply a rule that I've always used for blog monetization, and that is, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Now, this is a rule I use for monetizing my blog, but it also applies to traffic building. Live by the Google, die by the Google, goes for both income and traffic. I have what I call the 30% rule that states that I will not allow any one single traffic or income source to account for more than 30% of the total. Now, if something starts to approach that number, I try to reduce my exposure to it by adding more traffic sources or more income sources if it's with monetization. Too many bloggers concentrate on Google to the point where they forget everything else. Now, don't get me wrong, Google is a great source of traffic, but it's not the only source. Start exploring other traffic building methods so you don't have to rely so much on a search engine. Now, my ebook, Make Money Online with johnchow.com, deals with dozens of ways to promote a blog outside of Google. If you haven't downloaded it, then I recommend you do so. It's totally free. All you do is sign up for my newsletter, and I hardly send out any newsletter anyway, so the book's pretty much free, so do download it. But there are tons of things you can do, to build traffic to your blog other than Google. Start working the social media sites like Dig, Reddit, StumbleUpon, and then all the others. Network with other bloggers, get to know them, comment on their blog. Write a guest post on A-list bloggers. That's a great way to build traffic. If you can get a guest post on Devin Rose or Shoe Money, you're gonna get a lot of traffic, probably more than you will on a Google search. Now, if you have some money to spend, try advertising. The chance of getting banned from advertising is pretty slim. Alright, so let's assume you're working on other traffic method, but you still like to get back on Google or whoever banned you. Well, the next thing you gotta try is, of course, is to try to get unbanned. This isn't really as hard as it sounds, especially if you've been banned from Google. Chances are, if you've been banned from Google or slapped by Google, you've violated one of their webmasters guidelines. Generally, that means that you were selling paid links, or you did some spamming, or whatever, The way to get unbanned would be to correct whatever you think got you banned in the first place. That's sometimes harder than it seems, because Google doesn't tell you what they banned you for. But most of the time it's probably because you did something black hat, links, not using nofollow, that kind of stuff. But correct whatever you think it is, and then submit a re-inclusion request in the Google Webmaster's control panel. Apologize profusely, saying I'm very, very sorry, I'll never do it again, please unban me. And then just cross your fingers and hope for the best. So far I haven't done that. It's a business decision. I mean, right now it doesn't make sense for me to try to get back in on Google's good graces. I mean, you have to weigh the cost of getting back in versus the extra traffic I would get, and right now it's better if I stay where I am. But it doesn't mean that it won't change in the future. So I always keep that option open. Now, if you've been banned by a social media site like Dig, Dig banned me a while ago, and then they put me in Autoberry. See, getting unbanned from Dig really doesn't do you much good because, well, Dig doesn't ban people anymore. They just place them on Autoberry, and that Autoberry script, it's pretty mean. And also, it's kind of sophisticated, a lot more sophisticated over time. It used to be that script would automatically bury my story with 0 digs, but now what it would do now is it will wait till I get a bunch of digs, and just before it hits the front page, buries it. And any other story that didn't have a chance of hitting the front page doesn't get buried. It just stays in the waiting queue. The way to get around the Dig Autoberry script, and it's fairly evil way to do it, you would register another domain name, like say johnchow.ca or .us or .org or whatever, just another domain name that's similar to the first one, and then I would have it point to johnchow.com. I would use a WordPress plugin called Domain Mirror. I don't have the URL with me, but just Google it, you'll find it. And what Domain Mirror allows you to do is allow you to run both domains onto the same site. Right? So instead of submitting johnchow.com to Dig, I would submit the other URL, and people will click on it, and it'll still load. And since that URL is not on an Autoberry script, there's a much better chance of it hitting the front page. So it works. I haven't tried it yet because I'm not big on Dig traffic anymore. It was great at the time, but pretty much Dig traffic, all it does is just load on your server. Last but not least, I don't have to cut with me. Oh yeah, here you go. Sorry about that. My camcorder apparently only records like 7 minutes at a time. Where were we? Okay. The last thing you should do: work on your RSS. Too many bloggers concentrate on Google. Now, don't worry about Google. If your content is good, Google will find you. If you want to build a strong blog that nothing can take down, not even Google or anything else, Dig or whatever, then build your RSS subscription base. The RSS is your foundation. Unless you do something really, really stupid, you can't lose it. It's not like Google flicking a switch and booting you out. Jeremy Shoemaker has stated that RSS subscribers is the most important element of blogging, and I would have to agree with him on that. Everything I do on my blog is pretty much geared toward increasing RSS subscribers. There are tons of ways to build your RSS base. I wrote a post on how I got over 4,600 RSS subscribers in a month. I recommend you read that post. Just do a search for my blog. I'm sure you'll find it. Having a big RSS base ensures that no other single source of traffic can account for more than 30% of your total. Having a big RSS base gives you options. You don't have to bend over to Google. You don't have to bend over to Dig or anyone else. So, if you haven't already done so, right now I would recommend you go check your Google Analytics or your Site Meter or whatever stat program you use, and find out what is your biggest traffic source. And if that traffic source is taking up more than 30% of your traffic, then it's time for you to start working on other methods of increasing your traffic. And work on that RSS. Thank you for watching. Good luck with your blog.